I'd like to say Lydian. I like how it has like this surprise and cheerful like quality to it, and it's like a little off, but it like feels good and it's exciting. I'm gonna go with Lydian for today. I'm definitely not. I don't think I'm like the moody, mysterious, like Phrygian like that. I think I'm definitely an Lydian girl.
Rob Ruckus,
Nick Collins,
Kate Clover,
Keith Semple,
Isaiah Mitchell,
Billy Harvey,
Tim Howard. Check it out. Almost Famous Magazine.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Hang, brought to you right here by Almost Famous Magazine. Thank you to everyone who's joining us today, getting to know musicians well beyond their music, really get to know them as people and their lives and their stories in their own words. If you've joined us before, thank you so much. We hope you told some other friends about us. If you are here for the first time, please subscribe, hit the bell, drop some comments, the whole 9 yards. You know it helps, and it keeps us giving us the ability to bring you some great artists and great hangs. Also, let's just say, like today's guest, you live in New York and you spend most of your time walking around the city, and you listen to your podcast. You can take us on the go. We are on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. I'm excited about today's hang. I'm joined by Leah Nawy. Oh, Leah Nawy. Leah Nawy. Leah Nawy. No way. No way. Yes way. No way.
Leah Nawy.
Nawy. No way.
Oh, dang.
See, I'm a mess. We talk about I'm a mess. Nawy. Not latery. Nawy.
No worries.
Is latery a word? All right. She is a Taiwanese American indie pop artist, producer, and multi-instrumentalist. I can't even get words out today. Based in my place of birth, New York City, that I love and miss, whose self-written, self-produced sound blends indie rock, folk, soul, and something that I latched onto immediately when listening to her, lush electronic textures. I love that stuff. Now, she's originally coming out of New Jersey's live music circuit, somewhere on the Turnpike, and now carving out her place in New York City's indie scene. She brings a deep human perspective to songs like her new single, Quicksand, which we're going to talk about. It's a swirling, emotionally sharp track framed as a conversation between her present self and her inner child. If only we could go back and talk to the younger us, with influences ranging from Brittany Howard to Japanese Breakfast and beyond, with a sound that feels both intimate and expansive. I'll be honest with you, I checked her out in some videos. This stuff just took me over really quick. It felt like a good friend. This is the kind of artist, the conversation you want to stick around for. And we're going to let her kind of tell us her story today. So Leah, welcome. And I'm so sorry about your name. Nawy, latery. I'm telling you.
Thank you for having me. And if you've only heard all the ways it's been pronounced out there in the world, I think nothing shocks me these days.
Well, look at my last name. Do you think anybody gets that one right? I mean, I'm just used to it.
As long as we can look it up, I'm happy, however you want to pronounce it.
What matters, everybody, by the way, we usually get to this later. The links to find her are going to be in the description below. So it doesn't matter how you spell it, as long as you click the link and get to her. That's what matters. That's what counts.
Exactly.
So, we like to start with an artist's relationship with music, because there was, at some moment in your life, some spark that lit the gas that started the fire, right? So what was that moment that your relationship with music began? Did you find music, or did music find you? And how did it get you to where you are today?
Yeah, well, in the house growing up, like many musicians, lots of instruments around. My dad played guitar and piano, and he sang. So I feel like I was always doing that. I think, there are all the photos and pictures of me like tapping around and, wanting to sing along and get involved. And then when I remember being like 5 or 6 and like begging for piano lessons. Like I loved it. I wanted it so bad. And then my dad was like, okay, you want lessons? Why don't you go like take some time, learn some songs, and like prove that you want to go and do this. So at a young age, I was able to, get in there and say, okay, let me like figure these songs out. Let me get into it. And he also really instilled in me like singer-songwriters who played the piano and sang that were women. He was like, Leah, look at Alicia Keys, like look at Lady Gaga, like look at these people. Look at what they're doing. Like, if you want to do this, like, here are these amazing people to be inspired by. So definitely, like, from a very young age, I was out there trying to like copy the songs and like learn and sing. And I've always wanted to perform. There's like a video of me in kindergarten at 5 years old, and we're singing our graduation song. I am just like yelling over everyone, like I'm giving it my all, you know. So definitely very performance and instrument based. My relationship with music started out, and then around 12 is when I started joining a bunch of rock bands like in the Jersey Shore and playing all of those gigs. And I fell in love with that and like collaboration and playing music with other people. And then that naturally made its way into like writing songs with other people and all of that. But I was very fortunate to grow up like surrounded by music. So it came pretty naturally to me. I had a lot of opportunity at a young age to nourish it.
That's great. I got a question though for you because you mentioned kind of plinking around and figuring out the songs. I only wish these ears had perfect pitch. Do you have perfect pitch? And if not, how did you figure out? Because it's not without perfect pitch, it can be a painful struggle for some.
And that is exactly what it was, because I do not have perfect pitch. Over the years, obviously now you can hear things, you can like years of doing it. But I mean, I remember being on YouTube a lot. I remember like not even understanding like chords and letters really, but just writing down like, okay, A, C, E at the same time. And then the left hand, like what note I was playing in the left hand, and doing it that way before I was able to like get into charts and reading music and stuff. Or guitar, like, you know, straight up with the tabs before you understand what you're doing. You're just kind of like straight up analyzing. And then it starts to, oh, I played a G in that song and that song, and now I'm playing a G in this song. And then all of a sudden your favorite, you know, your favorite songs you're listening to on the radio, you're able to kind of like plank your way through them. So
And let me ask you this, because you mentioned, you know, kind of figuring out, okay, it's a G, it's an A, you know, what the chord is. A lot of musicians, and there's tons of stories about musicians who they end up creating their own nomenclature because they don't even know that it's a A minor or a G chord, right? Like, how did you bring it all together so that as you kind of progressed till you said, I think the point where you got lessons, which I would imagine you were formally trained. How did you figure out what the language was?
I guess I really just, I specifically, I would have a piece of paper. I'd literally write a line down the middle, I remember, and I would put one side was left hand, one side was right hand. And then if they were written in a row, that meant at the same time. And then if they like went down the page, then I knew that those were single notes. And I did that for so many songs. That's how and it's funny now, obviously lots of theory training, classical training, all of the things. But if I'm like quickly writing something, like play keys in a lot of cover bands and stuff, I find that I still do that. I still have like, okay, the letters here. If they move, if they're closer together, that's faster. If they're farther apart, they're slower. Like that stuff doesn't leave you. I haven't thought about that in a long time. Yeah.
So now you have your own method for music.
Yeah, I guess so, to a degree.
Have you? So I know you got a band that backs you. Have you taught them your method, or are you confirming to what they know?
I will usually make a standard chart now, just in case, you know, I don't know. I'm going to hand them something. They're going to be like, what is going on here? But it makes sense to me. I could look at it and be like, got it, ready to go.
That's what always fascinates me, because like I said, there are many stories of musicians, especially out of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, before technology kind of came into play. They would just kind of figure something out. It worked for them. And then they'd have to get other people to adopt to the way their brain was working, which fascinates me, because there are musicians who just kind of, they have a natural talent to pick it up. And then they're going to find someone who spent years taking lessons. They took theory. They know how to do it right. And they kind of have to unlearn to figure out somebody else's way.
Totally. And I found that, you know, with all of the bands and musicians I've played in, I've been in New York for like 6 years now. There are some people where they're going to talk to you fully in like the Roman numerals, fully like they're not going to talk about the chords at all. They're just like, they know 1 to 4 and they know 5 and speaking completely that way. And like their scales, like they don't know like the names or any of that stuff, but they're so good, they're so fast, and you just learn to pick up the way that they're doing it. Versus some people, if I don't say like E flat minor, they're like, what's going on? Like they can't. It's funny how people's like brains work differently like that. So it really is like when you're in a band where people have different, everyone kind of has a different like flow with how they are internalizing like all this music. So you just you try to find a common ground, and it ends up being a lot of just listening, because you know at the end of the day we all have these different ways of internalizing, but if you hear it, everyone will in the end like get to the same result, and that's what's kind of fun about playing with different people.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't asked this question in a while, but I think this is going to be great. Your personality, your music. If your personality was a mode, which mode would it be?
Oh gosh. I'd like to say Lydian. I like how it has like this surprise and cheerful like quality to it, and it's like a little off, but it like feels good and it's exciting. I'm gonna go with Lydian for today. I'm definitely not. I don't think I'm like the moody, mysterious, like Phrygian like that. I think I'm definitely a Lydian girl. Yeah.
Well, now we can just call you Leah Lydian.
That's cool. It's true.
That might be a new stage name. And for those of us, or for those watching who don't know the direction we just went in, go talk to your friend Google.
We went full nerd for a moment. Like jazz school.
Next thing you know, we'll just start talking about the pedals you use, and then suddenly the viewership is going to go, except for the real nerds will be sticking with us to the end.
It's true. You never know.
Your latest single is Quicksand. Tell me the story. Because I'll be honest with you, I've always thought about if only the younger me had the knowledge I had now, and I could warning, danger, Will Robinson, be aware. How did it all come about for you? What was the moment that kind of got you in that thought process of talking to your younger self?
Yeah, well, it's funny because when I write songs, I am not the type that, sits down and says, okay, I'm going to write about this today. Like, it's usually not my process. I can do it, but what usually ends up happening is like a few sentences I really like, and I don't even fully know, like, the end product of what I want to communicate, but I'll just start with like a feeling and then go from there. So I had those first few lines of the song, which is, I don't know how to rest my bones. And I was talking about that concept and just feeling tired and a little lost and like not sure where I'm going. And then when it came to the chorus, I just had such a strong pull towards like run little girl and like run, like fix it, like look at all of these things I've done, and like here's the way that what can you do to like not feel this way. And I didn't know that it was really like something directly to myself until I like sat back and I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, this is like me speaking to me about where I am in life, where I want to go, and like what I would want to like leave behind if I had the opportunity to like do it over again.
Yeah. I'm curious, as you were writing it, how did you know you were done with it? And the reason I ask this question, we used to live in a world of tape, and costs are involved with tape, and you could only have so many tracks. And now the tools can allow someone to overcreate. When do you know the song is right? What is the instinct that you have?
That's a really good question, because it's true. You can just keep going, for better or for worse, right? You can keep going back forever. And I've definitely fallen to that trap before where like 2 years later, I'm like, you just got to put this down and like let it go. And so I think sometimes the answer is you might not even fully like in the end still be 100% like this is what I want. You just have to hit a point where you're like, there's nothing more for me to like give and do to this song other than just like let it be and let it live how it is. For Quicksand, it was actually a departure from a lot of my usual process where I usually write with the instrument. I finish the song, then I throw it into the recording and I start working on it. But with Quicksand, I only had the first verse and chorus. And I remember feeling like I just wanted more tools to explore. I was getting more into production that year. That was like my big year of really exploring like sounds and textures and developing that vocabulary. So I threw it in with just the verse and the chorus. And I was actually writing it and finishing it like as I was recording and producing it, which was really fun because I ended up with sections and ideas that I literally wouldn't have been able to do if it was just me like singing and playing the guitar. So I think that song, I had a verse and a chorus, and then it allowed me to like write a verse that was melodically and harmonically the same as the first verse, but like the instrumentation and the sonic world was able to change a lot, or have that like big a cappella section at the end. And once I had that, I was like, all right, song's done. Like, just got to work on tuning all of these sections up.
How did it come to you that you were going to expand your sonic landscape for this song?
I think I really wanted to try something different. I'm such a musician and I'm such like a, straight up guitar and piano and vocal kind of girl up until that point, that I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to just try something out. I really that whole year was just the year of like exploration for me. And then I ended up realizing that I really love like this cross that I get between like a synth bass and like an electric guitar and like vocal stacks that are like more electronic feeling, and how it all comes together.
So let me ask you this then. I'm curious because by the time this episode comes out, this may be done. I don't know, but I saw that you were working on something on Instagram. Not that I was stalking you or anything, but you were writing a song about the telephone. Was it telephone or something call, or you have a video?
Oh, right. My most recent little Answer the Phone.
Answer the phone. That's it. Telephone call, whatever. Yeah. Answer the phone. Has that gone anywhere? Are we going to see that released? And is that going to kind of encapsulate some of this new kind of vibe you're putting in your music?
Yeah, it's funny because that was just, I'm trying to get better about writing something and like feeling okay to just share it of the day and like getting more of the raw creativity stream across. So that one definitely will be out, but it probably is a little bit behind some of the other stuff that's been in the works. But I think definitely the next singles and like bodies of work that are coming out, more and more I keep exploring like that relationship between like the production and the writing, because I really honestly feel like they're so hand in hand. And like if you're an artist and a singer-songwriter that doesn't produce at all, then your relationship with your producer and their sound is so important, because ultimately, like, I can have this song written, and what three people do with it on the recording is going to make the song completely different. So it's been fun to, like, keep making songs and track everything in and then be like, all right, let's make this glitch thing. Let's pan it out. Let's put all of this weird effects on it. Like, how can we marry these things together?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, because you've got singles that have been out, right? What is the plan? Like, are you going to be just an artist that drops singles on regularly? Is there an EP or an album in the works? I mean, what's the future going to look like?
Yeah. So, it's a good question. And when I've like asked myself a lot, obviously, for the most part, a lot of the singles coming out has just been me figuring out what flow works with like finishing and releasing. And that's like a real, can be like long process of like figuring out the rate in which you're finishing songs and putting them out. And then I would absolutely love to put out an album. And I think after this last group of songs that I'm finishing and working on is done, I'm feeling ready. I've got the ideas, and I think that that's going to be the next big goal. But in the meantime, I have another single. I don't have the dates yet. They're almost in the works, but I'm working on the last single and then EP on the way, which will have a few more songs on them. And these songs are kind of, they're just a collection of all the songs I've been working on for the past 3 years, like put together, and almost like I'm finishing like a chapter of like all the songs that I've been creating thus far before I continue on, because as much as I'd love to just like, yeah, let me put these songs together, have it be on an album, I really feel like for when album time comes, I want that to be the goal and the idea from the beginning, and having them all like really be written together and we've woven together and treated like a full body of work. So EP first, dipping my toe in. Yeah.
How do you feel about this? We live in the, here's the weird thing about music these days. We live in a world of shufflers.
Yeah.
And now you're talking about putting together a body of work, which is a, traditionally, let's just go back, I don't know, 20 years ago, you probably either would have picked it up on a CD and gone from start to finish, because that was just before we made the leap to digital and everything was shuffle, to an album, right? What are your thoughts about how you intend to capture people to take the journey with you from start to finish?
Yeah, it's such a good question, because even with the EP now, in the world we live in, of course, people still listen to albums, still listen to bodies of work, but it is usually like, oh, I really like that artist, so I'm going to do it. It's rare that someone will like pick up a stranger's album and stream it all the way through. So even now I'm like, oh, for the EP, like I do love those songs too. Like I hope people like listen to them, but at some point, you want to be able to like, I feel like these songs belong together. You have to trust that people are hopefully going to listen through because they like the singles that you've put out. So it is like an interesting balance and dance. I do like the singles dropping within the album, and you see them, but they're like on the album and it's going to be an album. So when you go to listen to them, I think that's a really nice way to create hype instead of just like singles on their own. But yeah, honestly, I think it's really about like outreach and really bringing people into the world of the songs that they can hear so that they want more and hopefully tune into the body.
Well, let's talk about the outreach piece. I mean, we live in a phenomenally mediated society, and there's a bazillion choices out there and a finite amount of time in your day and your life, right? How do you kind of personally manage, and I hate that this is the way that the world is right now, but being kind of on that creative hamster wheel of creating, putting it out, getting instantaneous feedback, both good and bad, and how that can affect your day-to-day life balance or your motivation for the next thing that you're going to put out. How do you kind of work through all of that stuff? How does that impact you?
Totally. I think it's funny because it's like in a way both the best time to go try and be creative and like the worst in some ways in terms of just the sheer volume and easiness it is, and like how much just the amount of people like trying to do it that you can see in one moment. So it's like we have this incredible platform and ways to reach so many people, and then at the same time I've had many a rant with many of my artist friends where it's like, I'm a musician, I'm an artist and a creator, and it feels like my second job is to be a social media marketing content creator just as much, and I'm trying to do both at the same time. And then you add in, I'm trying to play gigs, I'm trying to do that. It can get so big so quick. And there's also like, when I do things, it's like, if I haven't made a cool video about it, then like, did I even do it in this day and age? And of course you did, but it's just the main way people communicate now. For me, like, I hate TikTok. Like, I don't go on it. Like, I literally don't even use it. A lot of my friends do. And it's not that I'm like not a scroller or I don't use social media, but I just don't like that medium. And right now that's like the main pusher of promoting your music. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to make, I don't know, who knows, but I don't think I naturally am ever going to be the type of person who's sitting in front of their phone, like talking to like, hey guys, this today. It's just not me. So I've tried to spend time like making visualizers and like things that still connect with me creatively, because it's all about finding ways to do it that you can enjoy to a degree that don't make you feel like silly or not connected to you. I feel like so many artists these days feel like they have to like put a gimmick in front of every single video. And I know like a marketer might tell you that's the best thing to do, but if for me, I'm trying to find the balance of like, I really don't feel like that's me. I don't want to have to do that. How can I still connect with an audience and take advantage of these platforms and like feel good about it? It's a tough balance.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, just having this podcast alone and trying to get it out there and get people to see that we're doing something that doesn't necessarily fit in a defined category
Yeah.
makes it challenging in and of itself, because we just don't, we're just not pop, we're just not punk, we're just not country or whatever. Music is this universal language, and people, you can love everything from punk to classical, right? Or pop to punk, whatever you want, and be able to feel something with other people, but it doesn't fit an algorithm.
Yeah.
And it's challenging. I mean, it really is challenging. So I totally understand. I mean, it definitely is it's a double-edged sword. And I don't know how you overcome it, because I do know some artists who like, they get their energy off of their creativity for their music, but everything else is their demon anxiety over it. And that it does more damage than good.
Yeah.
I've probably met musicians who are like, they're more concerned about what's going to happen out there than what happens in here, right? Piece of it. And I just don't think that's healthy.
Absolutely. And there's some people where they naturally love to make these videos and love to connect, and that's amazing. And then there are so many of us who don't naturally want that. And just like you said about like how it affects you on the inside, it's like you end up feeling forced to have to do that, or forced to have to, speaking back to like releasing singles versus releasing an album, like it's almost like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to just make this one song go viral forever. And that's where artists are putting so much more of their time and energy and creativity into like actually making music like for themselves and doing the thing that like actually fuels their soul. But you want the views and you want the following so you can keep doing that. And then, yeah, it's really tricky. Months will go by and I'm like, oh gosh, I've like just been thinking about trying to like promote this one song. And what happened? I wanted to go spend 6 hours on this song, but I spent 6 hours like editing these 2 videos. It's tough. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I got an idea for you. We're just going to throw this one out there.
Hit me.
Possibly, maybe Leah Lydian, an alter ego,
Right.
becomes your social media person. And she tells everybody to check out Leah Nawy. That maybe that's what has, maybe that's a creative hook. I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
I like it. I got to explore on the Leah Lydian.
You know what? There's probably really good merch in there too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes. Here's your merch idea. We're just gonna ideate. If you're watching, we're just gonna get creative together. Maybe you find those original sheets that you made as a kid. Right. You do them as limited prints, right? Signed by Leah Lydian. I'm just saying, maybe there's something to it. I don't know.
You're gonna see me on stage next time in my full Leah Lydian getup. This is good. I like it.
I think that, you know what? It can work. It can work. So one of the things that I love about just being alive is that we have people come and go all the time through our lives, and some with great meaning, some with lesser meaning. It's up to us to figure out what to take from them. Not stealing, but just to pay attention to, listen to, and value, that we then take with us along on the journey. And sometimes we even deposit it on someone else because it was just really great, right? I've had a couple of amazing people in my life. Has there been anyone from the sense of your musical career that has come through your life that has been so impactful, even if they're not with you every single day, there's a piece of them with you every day?
Oh, this is such a good question. Um, I'm having a good think about it. Well, as I mentioned, I grew up playing music in the Jersey Shores in Asbury Park, like 8 hours a week. And I went to this program called Lakehouse Music Academy, Lakehouse Recording Studios, where I'd spent all my time. They had a studio, they had bands. It was like the best of both worlds. And I had some incredible mentors during that time. And it's funny now I teach music to some kids, and then I look back and I'm like, they were my age, and like the mentors that taught me everything I know that I loved so much were my age that I am now. And it's like funny how this circles. And as I've been teaching, I'm remembering the things that teachers, even that I had when I was 8, were like telling me to do, and it's like coming out of my mouth. And it's just funny how like the advice that the teachers you have like live on through you in that way, like even when you're not consciously thinking about it. So um I had one teacher, or like I guess like mentored teachers loose, like we did singing and theory and all of that, who I haven't even talked to in a really long time, but his name is Brian Herring, and I would spend so much time with him just working on my ear and working on the singing. And some days he would just show me albums he loved and like music he liked. And that having that like one-on-one time with someone like every week that like cared so much about my musical development, was so passionate about music himself, it really like, as a kid or like as a teenager, it makes you like really excited and like want to like do and like these things as well. And so definitely my mentors from Lake House, I would say, like have seriously like carried me through who I am now, how I am when I'm in rooms, and how what I pass on to like the kids that I teach in my lessons, and just fostering like a love of music first and making sure that stays in the forefront beyond like the development and getting better, like exploring what the love and like what they actually want to do and play.
Yeah, yeah. I had a gentleman by the name of Scott Mayo on, and he and I actually grew up in the same school district. And he
Cool.
inspired me, and we had the same teacher, and we reminisced about him on the episode. And those people who give you that encouragement and they give you that energy from themselves and they push you to be better, those are always the ones, and for good and for bad, by the way, who always tend to stick with you. Because I've had some where they are like, you know what? No, 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 and no, try harder. And then you're like, they were the biggest a-holes in the world. But if it wasn't for them pushing me, I would have never improved.
Totally.
So it's amazing how different people have different impact on your life.
Definitely. And especially your teachers and the ones that were showing you things like before you knew anything. Like that is really like what you think back to, and how it can really make or break like someone's relationship with music, like how it's brought to them and like nurtured like as they grow up.
Yeah, no, it goes back to that question about how how your song is done. I mean, I do photography, and I went to film school, and the things that I create that I love the most have had the tendency to be things that people are like, meh, and the things that I suck, they love, and I'm like, I don't understand. I strive so hard to do things the way that I want them to look and succeed, and then that's I could literally throw peanut butter on a piece of photo paper and people would love it. So it's one of the world's mysteries.
I also think that speaks to like, I've had like some songs either out or that are coming out, when you're picking like what to work on and like what to finish. Sometimes there are ones where I'm like, oh, like really that one? Like, I don't know. Like I'm talking to like my producers or engineers, and they're like, we love this one. Like, this is the best one. Like, you got to put it out. You got to give it a chance. And it really is. So the one that's like, I think is like the coolest and smartest and I'm most excited for, people are like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, I don't really understand. But then the one, it really is funny, like what you see is like your best work versus like what other people respond to. Sometimes all of this to say, like, those songs you should still, that you maybe are on the fence about, like you should still probably put them out because you really don't know. You don't know till it's out there.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because I mean sometimes I wonder if our greatest work is the greatest work that's loved by many is the work that we have the least confidence in. Because I
Yeah.
think the stuff that we really love is we're confident, we know, right? And then you put it out there and like, nah. But then like I don't know about this, and then people are like, oh my God, this is amazing. How could you not? It's so weird how it works,
I know, and I've seen so many like different artists like talk about this phenomenon too. Or I watched a SZA interview recently where she was like, every song that's been a hit has been those 10 minutes between the songs I was working really hard on that I cared so much about that they just put on a beat and I opened my mouth. Biggest hit every time. I don't understand it, she was saying, and I was like, that's so funny. I feel like all like creative people can like, I mean, sometimes a song that you really love and you work on, like people also love, but it's just funny how you don't know. And like you can't, it's really hard to hear your music objectively. Like you're going against yourself and you want to keep like pushing and getting better. And sometimes it's just about like having a good beat and just being free.
Yeah, my one of my greatest mentors, who's sadly no longer with us, used to say, "Perfection is the enemy of good, and good can be good enough." And
Definitely.
it's so hard to listen to that when you're like, no, it just needs this little bit more. But if you listen to it and you don't, maybe it's good enough, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I'm always curious because I don't see in the background there in your room like a vision board or anything. But some
Yeah.
people have vision boards and some people make lists and whatnot of things that they would love to do. They have dreams, aspirations. The only bucket I know of is the one that I'll kick one day. But if you had a chance to get in a studio with another artist to be creative for one day, who would it be and why them?
Yeah. This is probably, if you know me, the most obvious answer in the world, but it's 100,000% Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes. I saw her twice in this past year on their reunion tour, and I've been playing her music since I was like 14. And Sound and Color, the album produced by Blake Mills, just completely like changed my life. Like all of the songs, the way that it comes together. There are songs that have different forms and different textures and like big harmonies and then like simple guitar songs. And I would just love to get in the studio with Brittany and show her all of the things that I'm currently working on that are in their early stages and just saying, hey, what do you think? Like, where can this go? Like, do you resonate with this? Because the creativity and really like the connection to story and like music and how it comes together, how she's able to put that together, like I absolutely love. So it would be her without a doubt.
Well, the audience knows. For those of you who watch and come back to our episodes, you know what you have to do now. If you know her, if you are connected to her tangentially, walk her dog, deliver her groceries, bring her Uber Eats, whatever it may be that connects the two of you, we need to hook Leah up.
Oh my gosh.
Let's make a dream come true.
Brittany Howard. I'm Leah Nawy. I would love a day. I would love a few hours with you. I would love it. Let's do it.
You got to put good things out in the universe because you never know when the boomerang's going to bring them back to you. As everyone who watches knows, we are huge supporters of investing in your artist. And even though you currently don't have your music available for sale, you will soon.
Yes.
He's coming. Album's coming. Keep an eye out. We are going to throw every single link that people can connect with you down below. And if you see, let's just say hypothetically, you're going on a trip to New York City, you darn well better be checking out to see if Leah is performing while you're there. Don't spend a week in New York City without that, a good slice of pizza, a great bagel, some deli, and whatever other mischief you can get into legally.
Say hi. Come to the show. Come say hi to me. I would love it. Yeah.
Yeah. She could be down in the Village performing. Go. Totally worth it. So we would like to kind of wrap these up with kind of what do you listen to, right? Like who, like we're just sitting here, we're having a drink, we're having a good time, we're getting to know each other, and you're like, Scott, I've been listening to a couple of people lately that are blowing my mind. You gotta check them out. Who would a couple of them be?
Totally. Well, lately, okay, because as many people, what I listen to in the range of artists and genres and years and stuff is pretty vast. But I guess if I'm thinking about like latest releases and stuff, the band Wolf Alice put out an album lately, their most recent album that I have been absolutely obsessed with. They have always done like an indie rock with like pop influences music that I've always really loved. I've always thought it's been so catchy, but with their latest album, they have piano ballads. They've got like Beatle-esque lyrics. They've got like acoustic guitar, like, Zeppelin 3-esque like hooks, and then it breaks into like this electronic like breakdown section at the end of the songs. And I love new textures, and like I love when people experiment like that. So Wolf Alice's most recent album, and then Saya Gray is another one. My theme is exploring. She used to be the bass player for Daniel Caesar. Now she's on her own solo career. She's been taking off more and more every year. She dropped a new album in the past year, and it is, again, like every time I listen to it in the production, I'm like, oh, I gotta try that. This songwriting's so cool, but also like the way that they're approaching each song is so cool. So Saya Gray, Wolf Alice, I've been obsessed with this past year.
Nice.
An amazing girl. Also amazing girl songwriters and instrumentalists, which is again like my theme this year. So check them out. Yeah.
We're all about that. There needs to be greater volumes of female voices in the business because too many guys have had the spotlight way too long. So I completely agree with you. This has been fantastic. Next time I get home, I'll try and come and plan it around seeing you. That would be totally awesome because I've seen your videos online, and you never know who you see in a small club today is going to be in a stadium stage tomorrow.
It's really true.
You need to be supporting local artists. So everybody, you got to check out Leah Nawy. Now, just be prepared. It could be Leah in the future. You never know what comes out after today. Who knows? Alter egos. It could be a whole brand refresh. We don't know. But Leah, it's been great getting to know you, and I appreciate you making time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been so great to talk to you, Scott. Thank you for having me. It's been lovely. It's been so fun just to have a nice hang and music chat. I love it. Thank you.
No, it's always great getting to know people, and it's been really enjoyable. Everybody, you know what to do. Again, subscribe. Go to Leah's channel will be down below. You can go subscribe to her too. You can follow her on her social media. But the most important thing is show yourself some love and grace every day. Then show it to some other people. You're going to feel better about everything that's going on in the world. So for now, Leah, you take it easy. I can't wait for your next release. And everybody, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Three, two, one, zero, and liftoff.